Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today. It's Thursday morning, December 17th, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead, and as promised, the creator, the innovator.
Wait, you kiss my ass.
Whoa!
Oh, wait. I usually start the show out with some Tony Schiavoneism, and that's the latest from Schiavone, the book of Schiavone from Dynamite last night. He told Don Callis to kiss his ass.
You can kiss my ass. Well, I was about to give you a glowing introduction.
I don't need one. The world knows me.
Fair enough. It's Dameon Nelson. Good morning, Dameon.
Good morning there, meatball.
Oh, no. We're going to hit edit and do this whole thing over again. Let me get one thing clear. No, seriously,
That's
good
not
morning.
your name?
My name is Meathead. I'm the man they call Meathead. Actually, I'm the man that Frank Cosentino called Meathead.
But
and
I'm
says
not
you're
they,
the man.
so I need to call you something different. I'm them.
You are them. Okay. Well, happy holidays to you, Dameon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Meathead not knowing where exactly to go with that.
Nope. And that was a hard pump of the brakes and just taking a left turn. But it's Milwaukee, so we got to make sure that we look both ways because the lights don't matter anymore.
The Milwaukee.
Yeah, Algonquin for the good land.
Wrestling. We have 18 minutes.
Yes. So, first off, we have sponsors that we want to take care of.
Friends, those that pay the biz.
Our friends at manscaped.com are really taking care of you guys and taking care of us with the total package and a promo code of PWR will save you 20%. Plus, they've got another promo
Lex
going
Luger's
on as well.
Going to be on the show?
No, not not Lex Luger to the total package.
Oh.
But if you hurry up and get signed up, you might even be able to get it there by Christmas. So for those that know and those that don't know, you got to get over to manscaped.com, promo code PWR. And manscaped.com is also a partner as well as with our friends at collarandelbowbrand.com. PWR 360 for 10% off. I love the winter stuff they got going on. Plus, our guy, Cal Hero, the Fanny Pack Kid, is he's got his merch over there as well. The mask and fanny pack and T-shirt of the combo. All that stuff looking good over at collarandelbowbrand.com. Dameon, we got a couple news bits to talk real quick. R-Truth has been announced to be the host of the Slammys next week, Wednesday. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning. Are you going to watch?
Well, if R-Truth weren't hosting, I wouldn't think about it. But since he is, I'm going to find a way to tune in. That is going to be comedy gold.
He is comedy gold. And honestly, did you watch his game show, the R-Truth show?
I only saw clips of it, unfortunately.
Oh, take the time. I mean, because he is Bob Barker reincarnated in the 21st century. Not that Bob's dead, but R-Truth is absolute hilarity.
Whoa. Barker's still alive?
He is. Actually just celebrated his 97th a couple days ago.
97. Good for him. Is he dating Betty White?
No. Betty would wear him out. Betty White is the Mae Young of the Hollywood scene. He would wear...
Go ahead.
She would wear him out.
Hey, can you pop quiz for everybody? I just watched Speed the other day. Pop quiz for everybody. What was one of the best Betty White movies ever made where she didn't play a starring role, she played a supporting role? Actually, almost like an extra. Can you name it? It was in 1993, maybe.
I was going to say Dr. Detroit because she was one of the girls, but I got
Betty
that wrong.
White was not one of the girls in Dr. Detroit. Fran Drescher was.
Yes, she was. I always get Dr. Detroit. I think I said this before. I always get Dr. Detroit and Night Shift confused.
Bringing Down the House.
Bringing Down the House.
Queen Latifah, Steve Martin. It's a great movie. Check it out.
Okay.
Anyways.
So, R-Truth, make sure you check it out. The pre-show starts at 10 Eastern next week, Wednesday morning, and then followed directly by the Slammy Awards. I think it's worth checking out on a network afterwards. I'm not quite sure how many people are going to tune in live and what the rating might be, but let's talk ratings real quick. This Monday, Raw, or even Raw from last week, it doesn't matter. This last Monday's Raw's rating were some of the worst in history, and they were beaten by AEW. Now, it's not comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. We are comparing two different time frames, but they beat them in the 18 to 49 demographic. Dameon, what's your thoughts on that? It's kind of a huge deal.
Yeah, but I don't care because I'm not an advertiser and I'm not the network. The question is, what was the quality of the show? I still can't watch Raw. I apologize. I still can't watch SmackDown. I apologize. I still barely watch NXT. I apologize. They just can't keep me engaged. There's one wrestling show a week that I watch religiously, two of them actually, and that is AEW Dynamite, which was last night on TNT, and also Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW, available all over the world, of which PWR has a role bringing you news updates during that show. But
yeah,
I you know what? I'm not surprised. AEW is the cool kids show. It's the new show. It's everything WWE isn't. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes that's not so great. I'm not surprised by it. It's a win that AEW should be pleased by having gained, and it's something that may be of concern to WWE in the immediate future.
So you say the stuff that WWE isn't, they aren't 14-man tags. Now, unfortunately, Wardlow had some issues he had to handle with his family, so it got trimmed down to a 12-man tag. What was the text I sent you? I think it was, hey, get ready for 3 tag team matches featuring 24 talents.
Yeah, and about 38 dives, but I think there were only 22.
Right. What was the over-under on people standing and waiting for somebody to hit them from inside the ring? It was 3, I think. And I don't think we got that big 12-man spot.
We didn't. Actually, it was a good match. It was well done. There was some greenness in the match,
yes,
which I'm not knocking because I'm a fan of Top Flight. But and JR talked about it incredibly well. Said, you know what? They're young. This kid's 19. Talking about Dante, which happens to be my brother's name, by the way. And that they're going to make mistakes, but they get a big matchup against Jericho and MJF next week as a result. I'm very impressed. Hey, that promo they cut, whether it was live or pre-taped, they presented themselves incredibly well. It was a great night for Top Flight, and the continued dissension in the inner circle went on with MJF getting the pinfall after Hager did all the work.
Well, and MJF getting a pinfall after being named by the New York Post as the segment of the year and taking all the glory.
No. Hold up. Wait a minute. So I was, God, where was I? Oh, I was at the car dealership on Monday getting my my oil changed. And they had a New York Post. They had a New York Post sitting there. And I had never read one. I'd seen their online articles, whatever. I'd never read one. I picked it up and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amateur hour. This is a tabloid, basically. It was the New York Times that named it one of the best segments of the year.
Wow. And it was called Dinner Debonair? Dinner Debonair?
That's the name of the segment. Yes, that's the name of the segment.
Well, MJF took all the credit for it and said thank you to Chris Jericho, and you can see the dissension and the crack forming there.
He didn't take all the credit. He said that he would. He can't help, and he's offended by what people are saying on social media. That he's a better wrestler than Chris Jericho, and he made a point to call them out and say that while they're saying that, he wanted Chris to know that Chris was his mentor. There's no dissension.
Okay. All right. Thank you for playing the opposite of the truth. So
that's what he said. I'm reporting the facts. You decide.
Okay. Well, he was reporting the facts as seen by him as well. I mean, are you one of those people in the election again? Are you one of those people, Dameon?
One of those people that...
Are you a Newsmax person?
No. Here's the thing. How many times did Biden win now? 74?
Oh, yeah.
I've lost track.
And because we still don't believe it, he's going to keep winning over and over and over again, and we're going to keep getting told about it.
January 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to AEW and the rest that happened that night. Kenny Omega was in the main event against Joey Janela with Sonny Kiss at ringside.
Yep. Do you like the start of the match at least? I mean, because Joey Janela, if you're a fan watching it, you'd think Joey Janela doesn't have a chance. He popped him over the head with a garbage can right away during his entrance.
Yeah, did that. And then Omega with the garbage can moonsault, which should have been the end of the match. Then Joey Janela with an elbow drop or whatever it was through the table outside the ring on Omega, which should have been the end of the match. What about the
commentary from Callis throughout the match?
Omega was no Booker T. He was no Jerry Lawler. He was no Austin or Rock calling their own matches.
Piper did it too. Yeah. Piper did it at a Nitro in Milwaukee, actually.
I'm sure I didn't watch. Callis,
you were there. We were there together.
I'm sure I didn't watch. Callis was good. I think they're making this whatever's going to happen between he and Shivani very obvious. But Shivani had the line of the night, by the way, as somebody or as Joey or Justin Roberts was announcing Omega, saying brought the biggest audience of the year for AEW last week, and then appeared on 33%. Impact where they saw Yeah, and Shivani then said, well, I guess that takes their audience from 1 person to 6 people.
Yep.
Better because the math doesn't work. I love it.
Right. They've been having a hard time with math in the last month. I mean, 2001 to 2020 and 18 years. You missed it.
Sting!
Yeah. So Kenny the Cleaner Omega with another win tonight. I asked Dave this question yesterday, and I'm going to ask you this question now, and I want to put you on the record for this. So far, to me, it seems that Impact is getting more of this relationship. I know it's going to be, AEW will get some back, but how do you see this working out? Right now, we have announced for the pay-per-view, for Impact's pay-per-view in January, that Kenny Omega will team up with the Good Brothers to take on the Motor City Machine Guns and the Impact Wrestling Champion, Rich Swann.
I said this before, I think on this very program, this is a win-win for both. We can't take it week by week. We got to see how the end ends, if you will. You look back to, this is not unprecedented. WCW worked with New Japan. WWE worked with ECW. AEW now working with Impact. But I think their motives are a bit different. They're doing it for the betterment of the wrestling business overall, and they're treating it as a true rivalry. Don't understate or underappreciate what Shivani has been saying. Don't underestimate what he and Tony Khan in those public access commercials, if you will, during Impact have meant. They got to be careful with it. They got to be deliberate with it. I don't want to see a feud between the two companies because clearly AEW is going to come out on top, and that's just going to make Impact put them in a worse spot than they are now. But it's fun now while it lasts, and I'm ready to continue to watch it last.
You talk about the line of the night. Let's talk about that line from Tuesday again. It was just really subtle, but Tony Schiavone mentioning, hey, right after Impact Wrestling tonight will be your local Common Council meeting.
Yeah, but here's what they got to explain. Why does their commercial look like a local Common Council meeting?
Right.
That's what they've got to explain. I get it. It's old school. It's like the old commercials from, down in the South and the old, the market plugs, if you will. But I don't think that they've explained that in such a way that it makes sense to the audience of today because they may not have been exposed to that in the past.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. One more AEW note, by the way. Somebody knocked up Brandy Rhodes, and it's Cody. They are expecting the little commercial right before Cody came out to the ring. And, Brandy obviously holding her belly as she comes out, and Cody a proud new Papa to be. Your thoughts?
Congratulations to the endorsed Cody Rhodes. Congratulations to Brandy Rhodes. They've both, Cody's got Pharaoh and Brandy's got her dog, but now they're welcoming their first child into the world. Also covered by People Magazine, by the way, Meathead, on last night as well. So great for them. I mean, obviously, the 2020, if it's brought us a lot of pain in the world, it's brought us a lot of family growth in the wrestling business. As you know, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch just had their first child last week as well. So congratulations to the Rhodes family on their pending birth of their first child.
Yeah, a couple notes on NXT. Let's go into it real quick. Dexter Loomis
last night.
The NXT was on last night. Dexter Loomis will be hosting New Year's Evil. As we were kind of told throughout the night while he's sitting up on his Mac or his iPad doing a digital drawing, and it shows up on the screen whenever they go to him. But he drew himself with the New Year's Evil logo. What do you think?
Well, he's going to be hosting the show New Year's Evil, which I think is January 6th, or is that 6th. December 30th? He's going to be hosting the show, which I think is great. You saw what they did with Halloween Havoc with was it Shotzi, right?
She killed it.
You know what? I think that it adds another dimension and dynamic to the show, and I think it's a good thing. And I think the way they produced it or presented it rather was pretty cool.
Okay. Number one contenders match. It was Kyle O'Reilly taking on Pete Dunne. Kyle O'Reilly already had a shot, and he's going to get another shot at New Year's Evil, and he will go one-on-one with Finn Balor on PWR draft team for the Nelson family for the NXT championship.
And still in the lead in the draft, the Nelson family.
Uh-huh. Your thoughts on what's going to happen on New Year's Evil?
Finn Balor wins.
Finn Balor wins?
Of course.
Just no broken jaws again? Because, Kyle O'Reilly's the one that put out Finn Balor the last time.
Well, sometimes, things happen in a physical confrontation, and Finn Balor's a man. He could take whatever he gets.
Of course. I want to step on and talk about real quick the Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley match that closed the show out again. I still believe that Rhea Ripley is destined for bigger things, but I think what they're doing is doing that, she keeps losing, she keeps not getting over the top type move. I really do see her winning the Women's Royal Rumble and making her way to the main roster. Your thoughts on Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley, with Toni Storm getting the victory in last night's main event?
I would agree with you. I think there are big things down the line for Rhea Ripley. I talked recently on this podcast about whether or not going to the main roster is a good thing. I mean, you talked about the demographic ratings earlier. Let's see if the world resets and a live audience can give us, their impression of both those competitors. At some point, maybe the Royal Rumble is it. Apparently, WWE is looking to allow live fans into Tropicana Field for that event. I don't see why not, by the way. AEW's had live fans there for weeks now.
Did you see how cold it was yesterday at AEW? I mean, there was steam rising off of Cody, and everybody at commentary had winter jackets on.
Well, that's because Cody's the hottest commodity in the wrestling business.
No. It's because it was ice cold outside and just evaporating. But anyways,
wait a minute.
Continue.
No. I thought Snoop was going to be on their New Year's show, not Vanilla Ice.
He promised that he would solve all of our problems. You remember that in 1990? If there was a problem,
didn't you watch his home refurb show?
Yeah, no. I did see him at State Fair, though. But anyways, you were saying Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley.
I said.
You said?
You said I was saying. I said because I was done.
Oh, I did not know. Well, then, thank you. Good God. Real quick, let's talk about what's coming up this week. We have TLC on Sunday night. We've got Really?
Don't care. I just don't care. I don't care.
I mean, I'm used to taking that from Hero. Every Tuesday morning, listening to
Here's why I don't care. Stop giving me these not branded, but these themed pay-per-views that don't deliver. I'd rather see one TLC match that means something on a pay-per-view where it just happens to fall into the storyline than multiple TLC matches on a pay-per-view where they're TLC matches because the pay-per-view is called TLC, not because the match needs it to be a TLC match. Similar to Hell in a Cell. Stop giving me so many. Make it special, make it important, and do it as necessary, not as part of these themed events. Stop with the gimmicks. Stop making the matches gimmicks. Use the gimmick when it's relevant to the point at which the talents are in a story. I don't care.
So you don't want to see it consistently every year, but if a Hell in a Cell popped up every 18 months or so, this feud can only end one way. Hell in a Cell.
Well, remember how much better that was, Meathead. Remember how much more sense that made. Because you didn't expect it and you didn't come to expect it, I guess I'll use that term again, because that was the title of the pay-per-view event. You were surprised and it made sense because it's like, oh, hell, they're getting serious now. We're getting to the Hell in a Cell. This match is going to mean more, and it has more relevance because it is spontaneous versus planned.
Would you say the same for the Royal Rumble?
Nope, because that is the Royal Rumble is not. The Royal Rumble fits where it happens because the winners get a shot at Mania.
Okay.
So
but you would say the same though for like Elimination Chamber, for Money in the Bank.
Yep. Now, I would say with Money in the Bank though, Money in the Bank is very similar to a Royal Rumble. That has long-lasting effects. It's not a match between two competitors. The Hell in a Cell, the TLC, those matches are between two competitors. I would even say Elimination Chamber should be in that same vein.
Survivor Series.
Where even though it's more than two competitors, it should be on a as needed basis, not as an as scheduled basis.
Okay. The opinion of Dameon Nelson. There it goes. We got it on tape. So, all right, Dameon. Well, that is our time. I like a crisp and clean.
You didn't say anything about Sting and Darby Allin on AEW.
Well, please tell me about Sting and Darby Allin.
Well,
I didn't think it was relevant to bring up. All we saw is them staring at each other.
But that's significant because if there's going to be a match featuring Sting, it's going to end up being with Darby Allin, or somehow or another, Sting is going to give Darby Allin the role. And I don't know if you noticed, Meathead, but Darby Allin moved from his seat up to the rafters last night on Dynamite. Subtle change, very deliberate. I like the fact that Sting has not truly explained himself yet. I like the fact that they're telling us, basically showing us why he's there, which is to give the rub to Darby Allin. That's going to be great because Darby Allin's a tremendous star in that company. And not that he needs the rub, but he will benefit so substantially from that rub.
He needs to participate in a match and defend that belt that he won.
Why?
Because it's the TNT Championship. I mean, It's never been called the TV Championship, but we were given the precedent from the TV champion Cody Rhodes, as you call him, the endorsed one, that it was defended.
Why?
I just explained it. I literally
I love you. Bye-bye.
Wow. All right. As I was saying, well, Dameon, thank you. TLC is this Sunday.
For those who don't know, I don't actually love you, Meathead, but that's a play to the fact that I've only watched one episode of the Animaniacs reboot on Hulu, but there was no Mindy and Buttons. And Mindy and Buttons were my second favorite behind Pinky and the Brain on that show.
You know, I didn't watch Animaniacs, right?
Well, then that's half your problem. There's a DuckTales live action feature film coming too, by the way. Or is it Chippendales? Chippendales. Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, Chippendales. I think that was a weekend in New Orleans for you and Dave and everybody else, wasn't it? Chippendales?
That can't be discussed on this podcast.
All right.
That was Vegas, by the way.
I'm calling it right here. For Dameon Nelson, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to Matthew Thomas tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.
Bye.